Mr. Antonio,
Here.
Mr. Badger,
Here.
Mr. Bleefeld,
Here.
Ms. Kiavachi,
Here.
Mr. Golson,
Here.
Ms. Karianikis,
Here.
Dr. Morris,
Here.
Mr. Walker,
Here.
Mrs. Ginsburg,
Here.
Mia Bananese,
Here.
Reed Harris.
Here.
Thank you. Would everybody please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I want to welcome everyone to this April 7th meeting of the Wissahickon School Board. And taking a look at our agenda, you'll first see a list of our prior meetings. We had a work session on February 24th, a regular public board meeting on March 3rd. March 10th was a finance committee meeting. March 17th was a REAC community conversation. And March 31st, we had both a communications committee as well as our work session. Followed by April 1st, our finance committee meeting. And then we list out our upcoming meetings. April 21st, we have both our health, wellness, and safety and REAC community meeting. April 28th will be a work session, and May 5th, a regular public board meeting. And I just want to remind everyone that community members are certainly welcome at those committee meetings, and there is also the opportunity for public comment at those committee meetings as well. All right, so we'll move on now to our presentations. Jim.
Thank you. Tonight, we're pleased to have with us some representatives from our Education Foundation, WEOF. And to kick off that report, I will introduce the president of WEOF, Ms. Allison Matita.
Thank you. Pleased to be here today representing the Wissahickon Educational Opportunities Foundation. So instead of hearing from me about what we've been up to, I am so pleased to present our two class representatives, Senior Hannah Young and Junior Riley Taylor. So Riley and Hannah.
Hello. As mentioned in the fall meeting, this year is a rebuilding year for WEOF. Four new board members have joined this fall. WEOF executive board roles are in transition, with Claudine Paccio as WEOF's new treasurer as of April 2025, and the team is onboarding a new co-president team for the 2025-2026 academic year. WEOF President Allison Matisic had the opportunity to present the WIS administration at the WIS Leadership Council meeting last month. Principals were very supportive of WEOF and agreed to help spread the word that we are looking to add new board members from the community, including teachers and staff. WEOF has agreed to help fund 3 projects recently, which include the adaptive equipment for PACE students with a grant submitted by the Stony Creek Physical Educational Department, support for the Wissahickon High School marching band's purchase of a new cargo trailer replacing the current 24-year-old trailer, and the funding for a mural project in the Wissahickon High School Library, which is a collaboration with the art department, NAHS students, and the library.
To fund grants like these, as well as assemblies in all 6 schools, WEOF relies on philanthropic support. To those of you who have already contributed, thank you. WEOF just launched Wissahickon Spring Staff Tributes, a gratitude program that delivers personalized thank you messages to teachers and staff during Teacher Appreciation Week 2025. Please shout out your favorite teacher, administrator, bus driver with a personal message. The deadline for submitting a staff tribute is Sunday, April 25th at midnight. Details can be found on the WEOF website as linked in the district email, WEOF Facebook page, and other social medias. Please note that WEOF is not holding its annual trivia night this year. Please stay tuned for new events which would be planned for fall of 2025. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much for that report. And you said no trivia night this year. What was the reason they're canceling?
It was a tough decision whether we were going to continue trivia night this year or not. We just had some challenges and putting the event on, as well as that cost benefit for how much we raise. So we're looking at new and different opportunities. So please stay tuned for the fall because we're hoping to try something new. More to come.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? No? Well, thank you again for all you do.
Sorry.
Oh, Joe, go ahead. I see you.
I was just probably gonna say what you were gonna say. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Allison, you and WEOP and our student board reps for everything that WEOP does for supporting the school district. Especially some of the recent gifts that you've given to the district have been fantastic, especially with the athletic turf fields and bleachers and stands. That's been great. I will miss the trivia night, but I'm looking forward to whatever new opportunities might be happening in the fall. But again, thank you for all your efforts in making Wissahickon a better place for everyone.
Great. Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.
And Joe stole the words right out of my mouth. So, thank you, Joe. No other comments? All right, well, we do always like to get pictures with guests. Ooh, so we get a picture? That'd be great. All right, so we'll move on now to our first public comment period. And the board appreciates hearing from the community. A maximum of 5 speakers will be heard on the same topic. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. In the interest of fairness and in order to treat all speakers equally, it's not our practice to engage in dialogue with speakers, but when appropriate, we will follow up with responses on board docs. Is anyone registered online?
There are no hands raised online.
Okay, we have no one in person either. So we'll move on now to the board president report. And I have one item this evening, and that is approval of the 2025-2026 board meeting schedule. So do I have a motion?
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions concerning this schedule? All right, seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Superintendent report.
Thank you. Just one quick item tonight. We need to, for the record, show that we have reviewed the district's health and safety plan, which, as you may recall, was spawned from the days of the pandemic and the need for districts to comply with a federal grant, the ESSER grant. And in our case, we have expended the ESSER grant funds long ago. So this isn't really for us, except for that until such time as the ESSER grant is put to bed officially, all districts are being advised to just review this. Did it? Fine. If those districts that have ESSER funds to still expend, A, they need to pay a little more attention to this, but also B, they need to expend those quick before something happens. So in any case, we don't have that problem. And so this is just for the record.
Great, thank you, Jim. Any comments or questions? All right, thank you again. We'll move on to our assistant superintendent report, Dr. Tuan.
Thank you. Good evening. I don't have any informational items or action items for this public meeting.
All right, thank you. Board solicitor report, Michelle.
No informational items or action items for tonight.
Great, thank you. Board secretary report.
We have the items 11.1 to 11.6 for approval tonight, as posted last week.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions? All right, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Board treasurer report, Tim.
We also have the February 28th, 2025 treasurer's report as presented last week.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions? All right, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. HR report, Danielle.
Good evening, everyone. Changes from last week's agenda are marked with an asterisk and can be found in bold in the details. These include a retirement, appointments, a change of status, and co-curricular postseason pay in items 13.1. All other items were reviewed at last week's work session and have no other changes. This evening, I'm seeking approval for action items 13.1 through 13.3. Thank you.
So moved.
We have a second. A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions?
One quick question, Danielle. I just noticed a new line item for the interim assistant principal support. Did we talk about that last week and I forgot? It's
We
bold,
had,
so maybe it's new.
So this is actually someone filling in for our fill-in. This person is from STS. The person that was filling in for one of our assistant principals at the middle school was unable to continue. So this gentleman's just filling in on those days that she wasn't able to.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, got it.
Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the motion passes. Thank you. Communications Committee, Zeppi.
There are no new updates since last week.
All right, thank you. Curriculum and Technology Committee, Deanne.
Hello, we are seeking approval tonight for action item 15.1 and 50.2 as reviewed last week. No changes.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, Facilities and Transportation, Joe.
Good evening. So we have 3 action items up for vote this evening. They're unchanged from last week. All 3 are change orders, 2 of them for Bluebell and 1 of them related to the Wissahickon Stadium bleacher replacement project. So for this evening, I'm seeking a motion for approval of agenda items 16.1 to 16.3.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions?
So I know we addressed this last week, and I know, Tim, that it's not always easy to kind of foresee change orders coming in advance, but anything we can do to kind of help prepare us for any changes would be helpful. Luckily, like these aren't huge, but I always get nervous with, the change of the landscape currently, how, we might see these a little bit more frequently. So whatever we can do to kind of just keep up with this would be helpful.
We do. Brian's very on top of this stuff, as is CHA. The one change order was when you opened up the walls and you can't unfortunately see behind them until then. The other one for Bluebell was at our request. And then the final one for CHA was due to the fact that we did take the additional work and that required additional engineering information to the township.
Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Finance Committee reports?
So there are 2 new informational items in addition to what was on the agenda last week. And the first is the Finance Committee meeting that occurred last Tuesday evening. As we've talked about before, the budget this year is more challenging than in past years. And so the committee had a chance to talk about both needed additions to the budget as well as some removed items from the budget or removed items from current activities that are going to help make sure that budget is balanced. Again, those were constructive conversations, and what we want to let the public know now is that there is a proposed draft budget that will be submitted to the state, and that we will vote preliminary version of that budget at the next meeting on April 28th.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions regarding that agenda item? Informational. No, okay. Your other one.
The other items were already discussed last week, and that's items 17.3 through 17.14. And I am seeking a motion to approve those items, no changes from last week.
So moved.
Right, a motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Right, motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on now to our policy committee report. Marshall?
Thank you and good evening, everyone. We have one change this evening, 18.1, which has to do with policy number 234, has been removed from tonight's agenda. It is based on an outdated policy regarding Title IX regulations from 2024, which have since been updated. So there will be no vote on that this evening. Other than that, everything else stays the same. And so I'm seeking approval of 18.2 through 18.11, which is approval of the first reading of multiple policies that we have gone over previously.
So moved. Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Are there any comments?
I have a quick comment. Regarding policy 903, I did reread that one and really think about it, and I struggled with it a little bit. This is the one regarding who is allowed to speak at our public board meetings, because I'm not really looking to restrict comment in public board meetings, and yet I also don't know if it's appropriate that people that don't live in our community be allowed to speak at our public board meeting. And then we also did add the previous graduate of Wissahickon. Like, speaking from my own experience, I graduated from Souderton High School and I'm still very connected with the community. I coached there. My niece and nephews attend Souderton. And, you know, when they had an issue that I felt I wanted to speak again about, you know, I'm not allowed to speak at their board meeting, but I still did email their superintendent and assistant superintendent. So I feel like there is still an avenue to contact the school district in that regard. So, you know, I think speaking at public board meetings, the more I thought about it, it made a lot of sense to me that this is sort of reserving the time for people who do have a vested interest in the Wissahickon School District. And so I actually think that that's in the favor of our community. So that's why I will vote yes. But I did struggle for a bit, thought about it a lot.
Thank you, Deanne. Any other comments or questions before we vote? All right, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Racial Equity Oversight Committee, Paul or Joe?
We have no items for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Health, Wellness and Safety?
Yes,
Dean?
there are no items for this evening.
All right, then we'll move on to our report of board representatives. Marshall, anything new from extracurricular?
Nothing new since last week.
Okay, and I have nothing new from MCIU. What about North Monco?
We did get that email today. Just quickly, we got an email indicating that a number of our they're not WIS students, but North Monco students nonetheless, have competed in a number of competitions. One was for the Health Occupation School Association, and there was 2 second place winners, one for medical spelling and the other one for healthcare issues exams. And yeah, I didn't know that was a thing either. And then for the 2025 Skills USA State Competition, we had several winners at North Monco. First place for baking and pastry arts, first place for HVAC, second place for art advertising design, several second place winners in cosmetology, several third place winners for protective services, and a third place winner for culinary arts. So, and this is across the entire state, from different vocational, technical high schools that compete on specific skills. So kind of cool. Who knew?
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions? All right, thanks for that report. PSBA, Deanne?
I have nothing new this week and nothing for the ERC as well.
All right, thank you. right, well then that brings us to our second public comment period. And the board appreciates hearing from the community. A maximum of 5 speakers will be heard on the same
I
topic.
have nothing new this week and nothing for the ERC as well.
All right, so please limit comments to 3 minutes. In the interest of fairness and in order to treat all speakers equally, it is the board's practice to engage in dialogue with speakers. When appropriate, we will follow responses on board docs. No one's in person, anyone online? Okay,
We have one hand raised online. We have Carmina Taylor.
okay, Carmina, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I was in a meeting. I happen to be in Delaware, so I didn't hear whether or not Joe's answer was, or Joe's question last week was answered in terms of the motivation for these changes. So I'd like some type of answer to that, or I'll have to watch the video. But I did hear Deanne's comment about what you're striking out of policy 903. And I personally think, and I hope you'll reconsider, that with the Department of Education eliminating the Civil Rights Division, parents and students don't have an avenue or will not have an avenue to have someone in an advocacy group support them. So it's, advocacy looks different, or the need for advocacy, the needs of parents and students are different. So to eliminate someone that legitimately represents a group that is helping a family or a student should be considered, because there's limited resources. And I'll use the example of the NAACP. If you have an NAACP local branch and they're helping out a family or a group of people in a school district, they should be able to speak, because the family probably doesn't want to speak out on an issue. So that's why that is relevant. And what was wrong is for Solderton to use that out to eliminate me. I have a county-wide group, and I was speaking on behalf of parents that sought my help. So if the parent or the taxpayer or the student wants someone to advocate for them, then that should happen. And I think you have to consider that. This is 2020, 25. It's not about gotcha. They're still representing someone that is in your school district. So as we evolve into the second reading, I'm going to be in person and speak on that as well, because I don't think you're considering that. I need people to get out of their bubble and think about someone that is afraid to speak. And in Solderton in particular, because there's not that many Black families, a Black student or a Black parent is afraid to speak out because the district or the district officials or anybody that's not on the board knows who they are. And they feel like they can be targeted if they speak out. So I really don't think you're really thinking through what you're striking out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carmina. Anyone else online?
There are no hands raised online.
All right, then we'll move on to board comments. Do any of my fellow board members have any comments this evening? No? I just would want to take this time just to remind the community that, again, we do have committee meetings, and a lot of the issues that get discussed and voted on here in the boardroom do get discussed far more in depth at those committee meetings. So again, anyone in the public is welcome to attend our committee meetings. And again, we do offer public comment at those meetings as well. All right, if no one else would
I
comment.
did. Just a reminder, Jim, if you can remind our comms folks for that first draft sometime soon this week, since we're trying to release it next week.
Yes, I'm sorry, remind who?
Kristen, I didn't want to call out her name.
Have you spoken to her? Okay.
Any other comments?
Amy, just to build on what you were saying real quick, this meeting went really fast tonight, 25 minutes. It's probably a record, but what people need to understand if they're watching this meeting that went so quickly is that last week we had a lot of discussion about what was going on. So there are 2 board meetings for every like voting topic. So last week it was much longer. We discussed, we had more questions. So this week might have seemed like, oh, you're flying through it and there's no questions because all of the questions were answered previously. So I just wanted to make that clear as well for anyone watching now that maybe didn't watch last week.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. And yeah, we do have that 2 meeting structure where we have our work session, and that's more of an opportunity to discuss items that are going to be voted on at the next regular public board meeting. So that regular public board meeting typically does move a little bit quicker unless, additional questions have come up in the but all right, any other comments or questions? All right, then seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.